everyone. Happy December. Whew, 2023 is coming to an end, and honestly, I have been almost writing 2024 whenever I write the date for all of 2023. So for some reason this year just did not stick in my brain, and it's almost over, which is actually hard to believe. We have so many exciting things happening right now. I just launched the course, and that is fully available, the Roller Skating Foundations course. I am so excited that this is out into the world now. I have been going through this in my brain and on paper for over a decade now, so it truly means a lot to me that people are loving it and are using it and are really, really giving me feedback, which I love. Within the memberships, we have 2 new skills. We have international runs and we have a cluster sequence, and we will get all into that in a moment. But first of all, I know that the end of the year is really great for people and really difficult for people. I myself had a really rough time in December last year. It was our first December without my father, and it really hit me in December. And I know that this time can be difficult. So I'm sorry if you are going through anything that is difficult to end the year, but hopefully 2024 will be off to a really good start. And to get us ready for that, we can do a lot to help ourselves. Within the membership now, within the Roll With Me On Demand membership, you can get access to the Mind, Body, Soul membership and early access to the podcast and exclusives. So there's a lot more now within the membership. And then on the site, we are also offering the Mind, Body, Soul membership separately and the podcast early access separately. So if you are not even a skater and you want to give yourself moments within the day, we have mindfulness videos and we have workouts that are 10 minutes or less. I find that those small workouts, yes, you can clump them all together and get a really good long workout, but also just having those small moments within the day is so helpful for everything. Your overall well-being will be so much better off with that. So check that all out. If you have any questions, please let me know. Before we get into our weekly things to practice, this is one of those things that just, to unveil the curtain a little bit, I create things and I actually take a long time to put things out. I want to think about it for far too long, and kind of perfection paralysis where I take a little longer than I should to get things out. And when I started these blogs, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time to help people guide their practice, because I know firsthand that it can be really difficult to figure out what you want to practice and how things kind of tie together. So that was a huge thing that I've wanted to do for a long time. And just this past few weeks, I was out skating with a few skaters, a few members, and they were talking about what they've been practicing based on the blog. And that made me so happy. It was just one of those moments where I realized that people are actually going through the blog and paying attention to what I'm writing, which honestly means so much. It sounds so silly because it's like, yes, of course, it's out there for you to read it and to view it and to go along with it. But it was just one of those moments where it was actually like very present in my real life that people are paying attention to it. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for actually reading what I put in the blog and watching this video. It truly, I can't express how much it does mean to me, and to watch everyone progress, it is the best feeling in the world. So thank you so much. Okay, getting into week 1. In week 1, we are doing drills 7, which is labeled strut training, and we are doing our international runs. So let me talk about the international runs first. In dance skating, the thing that I did to win all of my world championships and all my medals at the world championships, it was international solo dance. And growing up in America, we have American dance, and then I had to transition over into international dance. So in American dance, you do runs, which is a push, a stroke, and a push. That only gives you 2 pushes, the push and another push. You do it repeatedly, so you get more than that. But within those 3 steps, you get 2 pushes. In international runs, it's a push, push, push. So you get 3 pushes, and you use your body a little bit more to actually help you with the edge, and you can push, you can bend, you can just move a little bit more. I explained it to someone yesterday that I was teaching that you just kind of have more freedom. There's like more space that you can use around you. So international runs give you 3 pushes, where American runs give you 2. That's just a total side note. The international runs are very fun to learn and very challenging. It took me quite a long time to really nail down. This is something that I really want to explain in skating. There are so many videos that go around and so many people that say, I learned this thing in 30 days. I learned this thing in an hour. Sure, you can, but the real progress and the real accomplishments come with time. Nothing should be that easy that you just nail it first try. If you do, awesome, good for you. But typically it takes a long time to really get comfortable within a skill. So yes, you may be able to do it really quickly, but to really get comfortable, that takes time and practice and a lot of patience. So be patient with yourself. The international runs are a great skill to learn. They kind of go hand in hand with forward cross pulls. It's a similar technique. So in our practice, we will get into that. But drill 7, our strut training, that is really working on putting balance into one foot at a time, one foot in front of the other, and it works your hamstrings a lot, the way we are doing these workouts. So these drills are done on skates with extra weight. You don't need to be on skates. You can do it off skates, but skates are weights. So if you want a little bit of extra weight training, put your skates on and try those drills. Now into our practice for this week. We have the push and stretch video, our outer forward edges or strong outer forward edges, and our inner forward edges. Now, all of this is used within our international runs and within our general skating. I always say, come back to your edges, come back to your edges. And I feel a little silly putting it in so many weeks of practice, but it is truly that important. So please practice your edges, your outer forward edges, your inner forward edges. And the push and stretch video is just a really good reminder of where to angle your foot when you are pushing and how to stretch it out. So all of that combined, I really want you to check all of those out this week and use that toward your international runs as well as toward everything else we are working on this month. On to week 2. We are doing our beginner intermediate choreography to L-O-V-E, Love, by Nat King Cole. This is one of my favorite songs to skate to. It's kind of a different type of song than I usually do, but it is so sweet and so flowy, and the choreography, it reflects that. It is nice and flowy, but then there are sharp movements as well. And I really love when a piece of choreography can do that, when it can hold these longer strides as well as hitting sharp beats. So try to do that within your body. It does take time to it's kind of like doing this. Like you have moments where you have to tell your arms and your limbs to like really carry it out, move through water. And then there are moments where you have to snap things and hold a position. So work on that. The steps are fun. They're not too difficult. You can slow them down, you can speed them up, but it does contain the dribble and some moves like that, which we will get into in the practice. So for your practice this week, I would like you to practice the dribble, the strut, and your forward cross pulls. So the forward cross pulls, kind of like I said, go hand in hand with the international runs that we did in week 1, but the dribble and the strut, those movements will help you with this choreography. There's something really cool about the strut and the dribble that even if you're not using it in that exact choreography, that transfer of weight will really help you in so many different things, because it's not, yeah, sure, we walk in regular life, but we typically don't have wheels under our feet. So transferring the weight like you're walking or strutting on skates will open the door for feeling comfortable when you're bending your knee, going into turns, if you have to transition very quickly. All of that is very helpful within all of those skills. So similar to edges, where they're like top tier skills in my brain, the dribble and the strut, they're like very fun skills and very showy skills, but they're also very important for teaching those skills to then move into other things that you want to do on skates. Okay, on to week 3. This week we are working on drill 6, which is on hip strength, and we are working on our cluster sequence. So for anyone who does not know what a cluster sequence, you are not alone. A cluster sequence is a series of turns that we use in artistic skating and on the world skate level. So a cluster is a series of 3 turns in a row. There are a lot of complex details of how you need to go about doing this to get credit in world skate, but for the most part, it is 3 one-foot turns, not 3 turns, although a 3 turn can count, but 3 one-foot turns, not changing edge in between. So the turn can change your edge. So you can do, for instance, again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. Watch the video. Hopefully that will fully explain it and show you examples. But you can do like an inner forward bracket turn, which starts on an inner forward edge and ends on an outer back edge. Then go into, because you're on that outer back edge, go into an outer back rocker turn, which takes you from an outer back edge to an outer forward edge. And then from that outer forward edge, you can swing the foot in front or not, and you can do an outer forward counter turn, which will start on the outer forward, which you were just on, and then end on an outer back. So that can be a cluster sequence. It's also followed up by a few steps and then another sequence on the other foot. So this is a very challenging skill and one that you can absolutely develop over time. Like I said, it's a requirement in a lot of world skate events, but in general recreational skating, it's just a really fun skill to play with, and it will help you with your one-foot turns. So if you have a few turns that you're working on, this is a really great way to connect it and make you hold the turn, like hold your ending position, because that's not something we really think about in general recreational skating, of holding the edge after your turn into and out of the turn. But with a cluster, you have to, because you have to go into another turn. So it's a really fun, it's kind of like traveling turns, where it's taking something that you know, say a one-foot turn, and then just accelerating it and making it more challenging, which I'm always down for a little bit of a challenge. And this one can get really fun because it's a lot about balance. You have to be able to stay on one foot for an extended period of time. So if you can't yet do that, this is a really good way to kind of force your body to do it and get comfortable with it pretty quickly. Drill 6, our hip strength. This one is kind of a doozy. Again, you don't need to do it on skates. You can do it off skates, but the skates will add a weight, but we will be lifting the skate and doing some squat movements. So this one is very important. That hip strength is something that we don't really use in regular life. So especially with the cluster, holding the free leg up and doing these turns one after the other, there is a lot of muscle around our leg, butt, hip that is developed in skating that we don't use in regular life. So a very clear example to me was when I took 1 year off of skating after 2010. I took 2011 off and then came back in 2012. And I was skating at the top level, and I did not skate for a year. I think I was teaching, but I did not train at all. And there's like a little indent like between your butt and hip that I had for my entire life. And then I took 1 year off of skating and it was gone. The indent was gone. And I was like, what is happening to my body? So it is that area, you can't tell, that area that gets really worked in skating. So if you have a hard time lifting your free leg up, these drills will help a lot with that. And then for our practice this week, we have a lot of turns to practice. Your 3 turns, your brackets, your counters, your rockers. And if you don't know what those differences are between them, we have videos on each of them. It does still get confusing as to which turn you are doing. So I always try to mention this when we talk about turns. If you are working on your turns and you're confused as to what turn you're actually doing, take a video, send it my way. I am happy to look at it and tell you what you are doing and what you can improve to really show which turn you're doing. The good and bad thing about turns is, like, if you do a 3 turn, but you turn the opposite way, you could just be doing a bracket. And vice versa. If you're trying to do a bracket, but you turn one way and you're like, wait, I'm confused. Was that a bracket? Or was it a 3 turn? it could go either way. Same thing with rockers and counters. So it can get a little confusing. When you really dive into the specifics of the turn, it will make sense, but it does take a little bit of studying and a little bit of practice to fully understand which turn is which. So practice your turns this week. Within the membership, there is an entire section of turns. So lots to look at, lots to practice on that one, but really take your time on that and try to feel exactly where you need to put pressure in your skate. It's not just about like whipping your body around. It's absolutely not about whipping your body around. It's about feeling the pressure within your foot, within your skate, and controlling your skate by changing the pressure. If it's on the pinky toe, if it's on the big toe, if it's on the outside, inside edge, maybe it's flat in your foot, like your weight is flat because you don't want to shift edge too much. All of those little nuances are very important to get to know your body and get to know your skates. So work on that this week, and please let me know if you have any questions. All right, on to week 4, the last week. We are going to do our advanced choreography To Love by Nat King Cole. This advanced choreography is, again, like flowy and beautiful, but snappy at the same time. So take your time with that, make it your own. I always say this, but what I mean by making it your own is you don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing if you don't want to. If you want to switch a few things here and there, no one's going to be mad at that. This is for you to take and for you to create your own beyond it if you want. So yes, of course, you can do exactly what I'm doing, not a problem. But if you want to change an arm here and there, if you want to add a step, take a step out, that is totally okay. So this choreography means a lot to me. I love to do it. There's just something about the song that it makes me happy. So I wanted to put this as our last piece in December of this year because I just want it to bring everyone a little bit of joy. Holiday joy or just general joy. For practice, we are going to practice a few things within our choreography, but I want you to start with drill 6 again. Yes, again. Drill 6, like I said, is very important for that mobility and strength within our hips that we don't really get the workout in general life. So I want you to spend some time on that. If it's difficult, do it without your skates. When you're ready, add the skates in and really focus on lifting that weight of the skate. And then beyond that, we are working on our back crossed pivot and our toe stop spin. So within the choreography, of course, you can change these. You don't have to do the back cross pivot. You could do a regular pivot. You don't need to do a toe stop spin like I do. You could do a 1-foot spin or a 2-foot spin, however you want to do it. But in the choreography, for the advanced choreography, I do a back cross pivot. What that means is I swing the free leg around, cross it and back, and pivot. So I swing, I plant the toe stop, and then I pivot. You don't need a toe stop in order to do pivots. You can do it off of the toe wheels, but it takes a lot more control. So I do recommend wearing a toe stop. And then toe stop spins. I was going to suggest practicing the outer back toe stop spin. So you can practice the regular toe stop spin or the outer back. With toe stop spins, I get this question a lot from people who can do toe stop spins, but there's just something about it that they're missing. And when I do a toe stop spin, I am basically creating like a tripod. I have 3 points of contact with the ground, my 2 front wheels and my toe stop. I'm not spinning on my direct toe stop. So if you didn't know that, I talk about it here and there all throughout different toe stop videos, but that is something that just doesn't quite click when a lot of people are doing it. So you can use 3 points of contact with the ground, not just the single toe stop. So you may have to lower or raise your toe stop depending on where your toe stop currently is. That is another thing that I want to remind you, you can play with the height of your toe stop to fit whatever need you have. So just a reminder on that, keep your knees slightly bent, soft bent knees in the pivots and in the toe stop spins. In most spins, you just want to have that soft knee and those little details of like how much weight is going into the ground to keep you from spinning slow, to keep you from rotating slow, or to rotate quickly. That's all about the pressure you're putting into the ground. So play with that as well. Your bent knee, how much you want to bend, how much pressure you want to put into the ground versus coming up a little bit, still keeping a nice soft bend, but coming up a little bit to lessen it, and you'll spin faster. So all of that is all of December. It's a lot. It's a lot to practice, a lot to play with, a lot of fun things. I always try to end December with some fun things. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you check it all out. The memberships, again, include everything. We have the Roll With Me On Demand membership. We have a Mind, Body, Soul membership and the podcast exclusives. We have all 3 memberships, but within the Roll With Me, you get all of it. So it kind of tiers up. And then, of course, the course, which is different from the memberships. I highly recommend having the course as well as the memberships. So just a little insight on that. The course is fully its own thing. And there's a workbook to go along with it. There's a lot of details within it. And it starts from the very beginning all the way through everything that I think a skater should know. So I recorded all of those separately. There are no old videos other than a few of the drills that are within it to supplement and to practice, but all of the teaching is brand new. There are a few things, there's a lot of things that are also taught within the membership, but the membership is so broad and has so many things, which is wonderful. So I do highly recommend using both to get all around what you need to know on skates. Again, the course is literally everything, your solid foundation to do whatever you want to do on skates. And then the membership has everything and so much more and grows all the time. So please check it all out. Please let me know if you have any questions. And I hope you have a wonderful December. And I hope that 2024 is even better for all of us. I'll see you later.